Okay, I'm just going to put that screwdriver back in there so we can give it a little bit of a nip, and that's all it needs. Please don't over tighten these things because it's just making it a hell of a job to get them loose again. Okay, we're nearly ready to roll again. We've moved the cylinder very high on there, so we're going to probably be on the end of our adjustment here on the chain. Now you will see on this it has a bolt and it has a pin there which keeps this from tilting up and down, so that if it goes too far then it's out of that pin, and that's not good. So you would have to take a link out of the chain, but if you've got one movement like that, you can, that's good news. So there we go.
Okay.
There, now it's one movement in there that will drive that nicely. Okay. So good, so far so good. Robbie's got a question.
Yeah, I've got the question. Let's take for instance you move this adjusting thing and then it goes like at the end, which means
you've got to take a link out the chain.
Okay.
Now here's a standard chain, and I've got links here. You can see there's a half a link and there's a full link. So you can take a full link out and put half a link in. That'll shorten it. Okay.
Okay.
So the chain for the front here is 32 links, 32 links at the back and 30 links at the front. Okay, so there we go. We're all smooth and running there. Now, to put the deflector plate back in, if we can just come around here and zoom into, I'm looking at these 4 plates here down the edge there. They normally get full of grass, and you can see I've blown them out. And if they are full of grass like that one is over there, we need to clean it out because the deflector plate, there's one camera gone.
No, he's talking.
The deflector plate goes in there and sits on those plates there. So it goes in like that, and then the shaft goes in, and then the bolts go on, and then we haven't got any more bolts left over, so that's a good sign. And it's a good sign at this end that we don't have any bolts left over this side either. So I'm just going to find a hole here, put that back in. Now these are the adjusters for the deflector plate, whether you want the grass to actually go. As long as it's got movement on there, so it shoots the grass into the bin. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to get a 14 spanner there because I don't think it'll go in with that adjusting. No, I thought so. I have to just take that back in again so that I can get this 14 spanner in, 14 headed bolts in. So that's now tight there, and this one will be tight here, and now we can move on to the setting of the machine. Let me just move that camera stand out of the way.
Bring it down.
So I'm going to tip it up, and it stays there. Right, that is called a setting bar, and the setting bar must be straight, and you can adjust the setting bar by undoing the wing nut and adjusting. So that is the gap that we have here.
So
in South Africa we set our machines at 3 millimeters. I leave it all the way through the season at 3 millimeters, and we sometimes get greens from 14 seconds up to 18 seconds. So this is how it works.
I think you should stop talking while this is going, just to re-explain that.
Can you turn that phone off?
It's fine, just talk
Okay.
about what you're
So
doing
the
here.
setting bar goes like this. There we go. It's to the top of the bottom blade, onto the cylinder, and onto the front roller there. You can hear it's just touching, and it's just moving in there. So it probably needs a little bit of the roller going up. So I'm going to first loosen this. This is the adjustment which is going to move the roller up and down. That's the one on the outside. The others are of adjusting the cylinder on the inside. So I'm going to undo this with a 17 spanner, that end, this end, and then we can move the roller up and down as to whatever setting you want. You can actually set it at 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters, whatever you want on your green. But in Joburg here we normally use 3 millimeters, and as you can see, that just goes in just lightly on there, which is perfect. And on this side it's also perfect. So there's no adjustment needed. But if you do have to adjust it, you obviously move this roller up or down. So the adjustment on this roller is these spanners, these nuts here. Don't forget to loosen that one, and that will move that roller up and down because it swivels on a bolt here. That moves up and down. So that is important as well. That's very much the setting bar. Here you can pop it in the middle and see what that's like. As long as it holds that thing in there without forcing it going in, it's perfect. Now the next thing is the blade is not touching, the cylinder is not touching the bottom blade. Now what we've got to do is we can either get a piece of grass or a piece of paper, whichever you prefer, and we are going to make sure that the cylinder is now touching the bottom blade. As you can see now, it'll just bend it over. It's like a piece of paper with a pair of scissors. It's not cutting. And if you don't cut the grass, you're actually going to bruise the grass. So we need to actually have that as a cutting. So I'm going to move it down. Now moving it down means that I'm going to loosen the top, and tighten the bottom. Now that nut is going to actually push the cylinder down. Okay? So here we go. We're moving it down onto there. You keep it rotating until you can hear it touching. Can you hear it touching now? Not quite yet. Now let's try that. Oh, it's cut it cleanly as a whistle. Okay? Now we've done the one side, now we've got to do the other side. So this side, you can see it's bending the grass over, it's bruising the grass. So we're going to move that down. I hope you've got lots of batteries in your cell phones. Okay, it sounds good. Let's hope it cuts good. Beautiful. 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 So we've done at 3 millimeters. We've set the thing. Now all it needs is for us to tighten up the cylinder first. We've adjusted it up and down. We tighten that up. And we tighten up the front roller. Okay, so that is going to be the end of today's show. On our next show, we are going to show you how, if I just push the machine down. I'm going to show you how to adjust the clutch in the next episode. So just to show you where it is, there it is, there's the clutch assembly there. And remember, gentlemen, oil on the chain, grease on the gears. The only reason we put grease on the gears is because we don't have a sump in there that will hold oil. So we put grease on the gears, oil on the chains. Okay, I'll just adjust this. Chain back for you. As long as it's got one chain with movement on there, that'll be fine. That's the end of today's show. I look forward to seeing you again. I hope it's been helpful for you guys.
Good.
And I wish all the greenkeepers in South Africa and all around the world all the best. And hopefully we can get top class greens. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.